Cosita.
Welcome to the OneonOne show.
Welcome to iSpace 2 LLC, the ultimate creative sanctuary designed for the innovative mind. Elevate your podcast with our professional-grade equipment and acoustically treated rooms. Crystal clear sound quality, every time. Bring your vision to life in our photoshoot studio. With natural light, versatile backdrops, and pro lighting gear, stunning images are guaranteed. Need space to collaborate? Our sleek modern offices are perfect for meetings, workshops, or conferences. Flexible rentals to fit your needs. Choose from our diverse studios: Studio A, Studio B, Studio C, and Studio D, each designed to inspire and adapt to your creative workflow. Conveniently located at 2198 Austell Road Southwest, Suite 216 in Marietta, Georgia. Ready to create? Book your space today at ispace2.com or call 866-936-5365. iSpace 2, LLC, where your ideas come to life. Create, collaborate, inspire.
Posez, pas fait tête chaud. Ou t'as cherché un compagnie sérieux pour faire le taxe pour là, dans des postes touillés, et bien choix par l'autre côté. Lucita Accounting Firm. Nous avons plus que 22 ans d'expérience dans seule location. Porte nous l'ouvrir depuis le fait 9h pour arriver 7h. Consultation nous gratis. Nous avons plus l'autre service nous bas encore. Nous faisons taxe individuelle. Taxe pour moun qui gen business. Nous faisons audit pour assurance taxe. Taxe consultation. Nos affaires taxes, docteur Lucita se met causé à relais pour service taxe par la Kounia et pour nous éduquer dans le taxe pour joindre tout corps ou nommé ARS sans manquer yon yota. Téléphone non c'est 770 319 91 81. Adresse nous c'est Atlanta, Georgia.
In trucking, time is money, and the last thing you need is insurance that slows you down. At AmeriTrust Insurance Group, we move fast, no loss runs needed, same-day quotes and binding, and rates that keep your wheels turning. From auto liability to cargo, bobtail, physical damage, and workers' comp, we're your one-stop shop for commercial trucking insurance. Licensed in multiple states, powered by real agents who answer the phone. No bots, no hold music. We know the road can be tough, but your insurance shouldn't be. You're not just hauling freight. You're building a business. Let's protect it. AmeriTrust Insurance Group. We don't just insure, we deliver.
Hello everyone, welcome to OneonOne, the show that airs every Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. You know there's one thing we don't do on OneonOne. We do not introduce our guests because we know there's always a story beyond our guest name. So now what I want you guys to do is to go ahead, tell a friend, share the live, and let's get going because we're going to have a beautiful conversation. And also, you guys know why we create OneonOne. We create OneonOne for the younger generations, the young kids, 15, 16, 17-year-old, because this show was created because of my son. He always thinks money comes from a tree. He knows mommy go to work, come to this white building, and then mommy comes with money. But he doesn't know that there's extra work that we have to do to get this money. So OneonOne is to go behind everyone's stories, what they had to go through, their humble beginnings, and to the person that they are today. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back with our guests.
tuned in to the One-on-One Show with Dr. Lucita.
Welcome to the One-on-One Show.
We are back with One-on-One, your show that you've been waiting for. I hope you guys share the live because we always have 500-600 people on this live. We want to have 1,000 people this time because guess what? We have a guest that is a phenomenal guest, a woman of power, firecracker. She is somebody that you guys go enjoy. Listen to her because her story is amazing. So now, without any further ado, my wonderful guest is here with us. Welcome, guest. How you doing today?
Oh, I am wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Lucida. I appreciate being here with you.
Oh, my gosh. Guest, thank you for saying yes. Because when I extended the invitation to you without hesitation, you said yes.
Sure.
For that, I'm so grateful.
Yes, I guess how we met, and it was just an environment that we connected, and I really appreciated the conversation that we had when we met. So my pleasure to be here.
Oh, my gosh. So now, guest, let's kick it a notch. What is your name? Who are you?
Who am I? The girl, sugar.
Yes, let's go. Oh,
I.
that's the song. That's the song. I remember those days.
Yes, indeed. No, let's go back to the 80s.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I am Donna McLeod. I'm a mom. I'm also a grandmother. I'm a chemical engineer by profession, and I also have a consultant business. I'm a chemical engineer, and I do chemical engineering, but also consultant for quality assurance. And I've also served 2 terms in the Georgia House of Representatives. So I've also represented people at the state level on behalf of their rights and their ability to participate in this process.
You see, guys, I told you I have a firecracker. I told you I have somebody here that's, you guys going to want to learn from, right? So now, Donna, is there a story behind your name? What can you remember about you?
Yes, actually, there is a story. So my dad named both my sister and I.
Okay.
And her name is Jacqueline, and that was after Jacqueline Kennedy.
Kennedy, nice.
Because she was born in 1966. And my dad named me Donna Teresa. Teresa's my middle name. So Donna means, it's Italian for lady.
Okay.
And he thought that I was going to be a saint. Mother Teresa. And so I hope I've lived up somewhat to the name. But that's my name. And of course, the last name is of Scottish background, the McLeod. Obviously, based on plantation owners in the Caribbean. And I'm Jamaican-born. And I happen to have been the first Jamaican-born to serve, and the first woman of Caribbean heritage to serve in the Georgia House. But being of Jamaican heritage, of course, the diaspora and the slave trade, we kind of got those last names. But obviously we've come accustomed to that last name. But McLeod is a Scottish name, and it's son of loud, and I think we kind of live up to that at times.
Ooh, son of cloud.
Son of loud.
Son of loud.
Yeah,
But
McLeod.
Are you loud?
Oh, yes, I can be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that because you just went very deep. So, do you grew up in Jamaica? What can you remember?
I was born in Jamaica, and I left when I was 9 years old. But those 9 years in Jamaica were very formidable, and I remember almost everything. One of my very first memory, talking to my mom, and she confirmed. I remember it was in a church. I'm holding her hand, and I remember people crying.
Oh, wow.
So it was a funeral. But I was only a child. Okay. I was very little. And so if my life ever comes up in a book and it comes up, that's the place I started. That's the most significant memory of it. And then I remember as a child, I was, Jamaica and Kingston, the
okay.
zinc roofs. And so my mom lived above a store, and I remember, and this is how strange now that I live in Georgia, but I remember as a little girl, it was raining. I guess there must have been some kind of, it wasn't a hurricane, because I don't remember it being a hurricane, but it was raining almost that entire week. And I remember the rain on the roof, the zinc roof. Yeah, that sound, that just, it is very distinctive. And so it was raining, and in the background, the radio was on, and it was playing A Rainy Night in Georgia.
Wow.
And I was only, at that time, my mom said I was 2.5 years old. And I remember that scene in my head, because anytime I would want to sleep, I would actually, remember the scene, and would help me sleep.
Oh, wow.
I use it as a way to go to sleep. And then, I was a child in the early 70s in Jamaica, and there was a lot of violence. By the mid 70s in Jamaica, there was a lot of political violence between two political parties. In fact, it was featured in the One Love movie about Bob Marley.
Oh, wow.
And I lived in those areas. So in fact, my mom knew Bob Marley and Rita Marley, because they were all, and my father at one time when he was younger, he was trying to be a singer himself, but more on the R&B side, wasn't reggae. At the time, reggae was just being
happening.
born, so it wasn't like what everybody sees today or kind of recognizes reggae.
It was like the Gregory Isaac moment. It was
Yeah,
very
slow.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but it was very violent too, and it was because there was literally two fractions going on in Jamaica. One was being supported by the Americans, which is the People's, the Jamaican Labor Party, and then the People's National Party was being supported by Russia and Cuba.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so that was really the fight that was going on. And if you watch, and if anybody get a chance to watch One Love Again, you hear that actually being described at the time, and it was
I'm gonna
very.
put that in the middle.
Yeah, it was very violent. So I actually almost lost my life 3 times.
Oh my God.
I was walking to school.
At such a young age.
Well, violence, political violence is political violence. And, so I'm walking to school, and these guys just came around the corner and started shooting. One of the motive is to shoot and kill as many people so that they don't go to the polls to vote. It's wild. It was a wild time. I'm glad that has changed in Jamaica. But it was still a beautiful childhood. Let me just say that.
Talk about
a wonderful, wonderful child. There's nothing like being in the island.
But it was let's just say, because it was the beginning of your life, early 70s, it's distinct.
It's distinct about my life.
And it's probably what guided you to become this person that you are.
Oh, yeah.
Which we will find out
later
in this conversation. But
of course, you are a collection of everything that happens to you. But Jamaica, being a child in Jamaica was also fantastic. We didn't worry about anybody stealing nobody's kids, because then they don't, ain't nobody got time to.
Everybody on the streets.
Well, they ain't got time to feed your kids.
It was expensive.
It was expensive. I got time to feed you.
Yes.
But some of the most beautiful thing is just even the trade winds that go across the island, and you're in a room and there's curtains on the window, and the trade winds would blow the window curtains up. It is so beautiful, and that feeling of feeling the seawater and the air together.
So you lived by the beach, or?
Well, so it's surrounded by waters.
Oh, I
so
did not know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, Jamaica's like any other island, and it's smaller than Haiti and thing. So you really do feel the water. There's some inland, but it's everywhere you go. You are surrounded by water. So that breeze, the trade breeze, actually comes across the. And I was born in Kingston. Okay. I was born in Kingston. So
that's a very tourist area, right?
Well, Kingston is a very urban area. So Montego Bay is your tourist area. Okay. I'm more of the Kingstonian, more of the rough gal. I'm the rough.
The rough gal. What does that look like, the rough gal? Because we see the proper McDonald right now. Tell me what a rough girl. What should we expect for the people that's looking at you now? Yeah. What does a rough girl?
Rough life. So okay, I didn't even know I was poor, but apparently we were poor. but one of the things is, we live in what they call tenement yards. So if you hear Jamaicans speak, they'll say, "May I go back a yard."
May I go back a
Yard
yard.
mean
Home.
home, and meaning that where I live was literally called a yard because it was like a tenement yard where there's like maybe 8 or 9 little singular homes in that one courtyard.
Okay.
And so, back then, there was no
Everybody
one.
lives together. It's just like Haiti.
Yeah.
You have the whole families in one part. of the
Exactly.
land, and each have their own little
Yeah.
1 bedroom per se.
Yeah.
In that land.
In that land. And so, and I'll talk about my grandmother, who had a little bit different. So we lived in a tenement yard, and in that tenement yard, you don't have you don't have a bathroom inside. So the bathroom is
Who can
outside.
relate?
Yeah, it isn't inside. So, and you're very, your resources are less abundant, but you are not aware of it because
When you're
everybody
in it,
everybody
'cause it's
lives
normal.
like you.
It's normal.
So it's not like you're like, oh my God, I'm bored. Like
And some people don't even have that.
and
right?
and some
You
people
know,
don't even
so
have that.
We have it, and it's
Yes,
a luxury for us.
exactly.
Think about the ones that don't.
Don't have it. And food is like it's not like here because of there's mango trees, there's ackee tree. You can
Yes.
pick stuff. You can literally pick stuff off the tree
Almonds,
and eat and still not be hungry. Where here everything is you have to
You gotta
purchase.
purchase. You gotta.
So I lived in a tenement yard, and so for that kind of environment, it kind of brews creativity. When you don't have, you make things. You make it do what it do.
Yes.
And so I remember the 250 mil milk boxes, carton boxes that we used to stuff newspaper in it. Punched in each side, and that's what we'd use for a ball to pay what we call dandy shandy, which was like, I guess what they call, what is that game that they play here? But somebody's in the middle, and the whole idea is to throw it and hit the person in the middle, and the whole idea for the person in the middle is to avoid getting hit.
Okay.
And
So you guys didn't have a ball, so you created.
Yeah, we created a ball.
And then the funny thing, living like this, you have so much fun.
Yeah.
Because it's you use your creative. You had an imagination, and then you took the ball, and you took the bottle, and you created a ball, and you saw your vision to life. Can you imagine if you had all this stuff?
But that lends creativity, so that's a lot of time why Jamaicans do so well is because of the creativity that they were forced to be about. It wasn't like, oh, it's a choice. They had to make it do. My grandmother, on the other hand, they used to live in a tenement yard, but in the mid to late 60s, she bought a house in Tivoli Gardens, which was one
different.
It was a
Even the
brand
garden
new.
sounds
Yeah,
different.
it was beautiful at the time. Actually, before it was the Tivoli Garden, it was like a wasteland where people used to dump stuff. And then the leader of that party, Edward Siaga, he basically took that land and built apartments and homes. And my grandmother was one of the first to buy a home in that area. And when it was called a garden, it really was. Like, it had some beautiful flowers. We call it shoe black. And there was
in Haiti.
Exactly. And so
Hibiscus,
it was
right?
hibiscus. It's
flowers.
beautiful. And
Different
so
colors.
all of that.
Yeah.
And so when you walk into the Tivoli Garden, it was gorgeous. It had 2 apartment buildings.
Wow.
Along with the home. So it was a housing scheme with a little bit of variety of how people lived. And my grandmother had running water in her house.
Wow.
I thought it was a palace. Oh my goodness.
Being young, because how old are you then? Like
I'm 7.
Yes. So it's like you feel rich, like you're the richest girl.
Well, this is before I was even born. She bought the house,
Yes,
but by the time I was really recognizing the place, it looked like a palace to me. You can tell me anything. And the Jamaican woman would get down on their knees and clean it with the floor polish and the coconut brush.
Yes.
And when she got down, we call her Mother Mock. She's the matriarch. She is everything. In fact, my very first speech in the Georgia Well was about my grandmother. We call her Mother Madamak. She was an awesome woman. She could not read or write, but she sold stuff in the market, and she was able to buy that home and raise her 7 children, which one of them happens to be my father, and he was able to get a welding. He took an apprentice course in welding, and so he was able to give a life to us that she couldn't imagine, but I'm truly honored that she made it possible, because when my mom got pregnant, she moved my mom in so that my dad could practice his trade in bauxite, which is far from Tivoli, and he had to travel to
And
go.
Madam Mark, is she still with us?
Yeah, no, she passed
'Cause
on.
if you had something to say to her.
I've said it already. I am honored to be her granddaughter,
Oh,
and how lucky am I?
yes. And that you are. You are
That
very
I am.
lucky. Yes. So let's go to positive, because we pray for her, we bless her, and we want her to know that she's with
absolutely.
us right now.
She
and
is.
We can feel her.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
probably laughing, Madam Mark. See my mother up there. Talk some patois with her for me.
Yeah.
Yes. So now let's talk about positive, some good vibe, because Madam Mark built
Oh, yeah.
this person that you are. So now 7, 8 years old. Tell me about school in Jamaica.
Oh,
How was
so
school
you're
there?
uniformed wearing?
Yes, I was a uniform girl.
So we are, very. The school I went to was Demontown Primary School, so we wore orange blouse and a blue skirt,
Okay.
blue or black socks, and brown or black shoes.
Okay.
And
What was the name of that school?
it's Demontown Primary. I went to Demontown Primary.
Is that bougie?
No, it's in the hood. It's
in the hood?
it's near it's Tivoli Garden area, but it was a very very organized school.
Okay.
They didn't play about education,
All right.
and you couldn't be late for school.
So what can you remember in class? How was the kids?
Oh, yeah.
How was the
So,
let's go back there. Let's go the
Go
Donna
back.
that was dirty playing. How
Oh,
was
so the
that?
one thing about school, you got to be neat.
Yes, that's
Okay,
true.
so
Having
your
uniforms,
Oh
yes.
yes, we would starch all our skirts on Sunday, and iron our skirts and our blouses. Our ribbons had to be pressed. Our slip had to be intact, because you wore slip back then, even if
Wow.
you wore your slip, and also you had your shoes shined up. My sister, who was only about a year and 14 months older than me, she used to braid all of our hair for school. She used to do the cornrow, like real tight, to get them hair bumps, right?
Yes.
But it was tight so that we could
Yes.
go through the whole
And you have
week.
the Chinese eye.
Yeah, exactly. But it was the whole idea was to keep that hairstyle the whole weekend. You put your tie it on your head so you could keep your.
Because there's no
silk.
time to do it every day.
No,
So it's every
no.
Sunday.
So every Sunday, and your uniforms are ironed, starched, and ironed. Neat. Everything has to be neat. You are checked to make sure that you look clean and tidy. And so when you get to school, if you were late, you would line up and you would get a whooping. Because back then they actually they used the belt back then.
And it's
For all
funny,
those
I'm
kids
hearing
that
you
don't think.
talking,
Yeah.
And it's taking me back
Yeah.
home. Haiti was just the same way.
Yeah.
Every Sunday we do the same thing. It's the same routine.
The same
You know,
routine.
your hair gets done, your clothes get prepared, and then on Monday morning we all just go
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
A group of kids would walk together to school.
Yes.
If people were, because I remember where I lived, there was some people living from the top of where I lived. They would walk, come down,
And
everybody
walk,
meet,
and they walk
we'd
together.
all walk
Absolutely.
together.
So you had a real good sense of community. And respect for each other.
Yes.
You wouldn't be uncommon to hear somebody go by, "Morning, Miss Bev," or
Yes.
somebody come by, "Miss Bev, you have some sugar, you have
Yes.
some milk," and it was just
was
that
normal.
it was
normal.
It was normal. It was so I grew up with that sense of community, and just just raw, pure joy. I can't explain to people, even with the violence, the raw, pure joy. One of the things I remember, I just talked to somebody, I was telling them, I remember when it's getting really hot in Jamaica, and
We want to put the camera on her because she's getting ready to give us something hot.
well, it's not really hot. So I remember like when it gets hot in Jamaica, right? And you're walking, you're going from school, and you're just dripping with sweat and stuff. And then there's a big tree, and you walk under that tree, and the leaves are rustling, and the breeze is blowing. It feels like air conditioned. It was just, oh my gosh, it's that sense of just pure.
What time of the day?
It's like midday, like
Oh,
2,
wow.
3 o'clock in the from midday to like 3 in the afternoon when the sun is really hot and you're hot and you're walking from school in your uniform and you see that tree and you just said, "Oh my gosh, I need to stop for a little." It feels like you just entered air conditioning. That's how beautiful it is. That's why I have such a huge respect for trees and for nature and for all that we get from it. I am truly honored and blessed to have been born in this beautiful, beautiful island called Jamaica. We call it the island continent because, Jamaicans think a whole lot about themselves.
The island
Continent of Jamaica.
I wonder. It's the big head that you guys have.
Yeah, we got it.
Because all my Jamaican friends, you guys always said your stuff is better, your food is better.
Well, we proving it now.
Diana be like, Sima.
Grab a room for the prima. Who am I?
Them girl, them sugar.
But I think that I was just saying that to somebody. I think the sense of confidence has allowed Jamaicans to go wherever they are going, wherever the diaspora, when they've left Jamaica, to survive in it, because every time you go someplace, you will see a Jamaican restaurant now. And it's because they feel that they're that good,
Yes.
that they can do that. And I think as an overall sense of self, in uniformity, not that we're all together, but in uniformity, we have that sense of self-worth and self-awareness that whatever that we think that we can do, we'll do it.
Yeah, you guys
We'll
have
do
10
it.
jobs, so yeah.
Tree
It
job,
takes-
tree.
It takes whatever it takes to
Whatever
get
it
done.
takes.
It'll get done. So now you lived in Jamaica, you experienced Jamaica.
Yeah.
Now what makes you okay? Was there a turn of your life that caused
Yes.
you to transfer to the United States? What happened there?
So I didn't
Now
go to
let's
the United States. So
Okay.
my father, who was a welder,
Oh, we have that in common.
yeah.
Dad was a welder.
He's
as
a
well.
welder.
Yes. Yes.
and so he went to Canada. Canada was building its infrastructure.
Okay.
At the time, they were making the hydro plant, and they needed skilled laborers. My father actually went up there without his papers.
Oh, wow.
But because of his skill, he was able to stay there, and eventually went through the process and get his his permanent status for Canada.
Okay.
So my
So
dad
you
left
speak
in.
French?
Je parle français un peu.
Un peu. Okay.
I lived in the English part,
Okay.
Ontario.
Go figure. She didn't go to Quebec, people.
No, because I'm from Jamaica. We speak English. So my dad, so he comes up, and so that was 1969.
Wow.
I was born in 1968.
Oh.
So my dad left when I was a year old.
Oh, wow.
So in 1977.
Okay. That's when you reunited.
That's when we went to Canada. So my grandmother was very instrumental in pushing my mom. My mom didn't want to live with my dad because he was too controlling. And
Wow, Jamaican man.
he's controlling.
Yes.
And so my grandma really insisted on my mom to let us come to the Canada because she only had 2 girls, and they were both from my father. The 2 girls are only for him, and so it was going to be hard because she would have to give up her daughters. And so as a result, my grandmother said, "Look, they're getting older. The violence in Jamaica is a little bit too much, and we're getting older. That means that as we get
that time
older,
you're 9,
as we get older, the possibility of getting pregnant and all that stuff weighs heavily on both of them. So they eventually, my father did get us up from Jamaica to Canada.
Okay.
So I spent 21 years in Canada.
Interesting.
I spent 21 years in
So
Canada.
tell me, so you were mid-teenagers now? Are we talking,
I'm 9.
Oh, so you're
I'm
9
9
when you
years.
went to
I'm 9 years
Canada.
old.
So
I'm 9.
now
I
you're
just
gonna
turned
have
9
to
in
go
March.
to school there.
Oh yes.
Your whole life
Oh
been.
my gosh.
Tell us about this.
Oh my gosh, what a culture shock, right?
Yeah, living
So,
under the tree, living in the mango,
Small
living the good
Jamaica,
life.
small island, America, or Canada, huge continent, and
The real continent.
the continent, a real continent, not the continental Jamaica, the continental America. So North America. So we are going there, and we get to the airport, and the first thing you notice is just the ginormousness of the roads. I mean, in Jamaica, the roads are like this small. You come up here, there's 2 lanes on here, 3 lanes on this side, and then you go on a highway, and cars are moving at speed. It's like you're a kid. You're like, what is happening here? So it was culture shock. It was a geographical change. And then we came up on October 25th. The next day, it snowed. Never saw snow in my life. Shocked. We didn't understand what it was. And we had to be explained that it's called snow. And then, of course, they had to buy us boots and scarf and stuff like that. And I ended up starting the 3rd grade in Canada.
Oh, wow.
I was kind of, because my patois was so rough,
You still had the patois.
girl.
Well,
It was
'cause that's all you were
it was a completely different language to a lot of them. I was still speaking English, but it was
Like, what?
it
What you say?
Yeah, like they call candy, and we call it sweetie.
Oh, you call it sweetie.
Because of the British influence, right? Like they say in North America, they say battery, and we say battery.
Battery. Yeah.
So just the little change in pronunciation and stuff.
Yeah.
But and I remember going to this is the crazy thing too. I remember a car backfiring. We were walking from school, and my sister and I jumped to the ground because we thought it was a gunshot. Yeah. So it was definitely an interesting transition into, and then of course, they were saying they were going to have an election. I thought they were going to be shooting, and because I was back home, and that didn't happen. So I started learning to
you start
adjust.
saying, well, it's not the same. Maybe it's easier here.
But people don't think about just the cultural and the geographial change that people who are coming from probably an island will experience. Anyone coming from another country, but in the place of a small island versus a continent, and it's huge. It's huge, and then just being aware of yourself in that space. Being a person of color in that space in Canada back then in the 70s, it was you had to put your foot down, and you ain't Jamaicans, we don't accept nonsense, so it ain't
How
happening.
was life in school? Because I know in America, it was very hard for immigrants. So was Canada more welcoming?
Yes.
to immigrants?
Yes.
What can
So
you
I
remember?
think Canada and Jamaica are both of British Commonwealth,
So
and so the Canadians were very welcoming in a sense because they needed resources, and people are resources. And as the fact that my dad was a welder, I never felt like oh my God, I'm so different. But there were people that were racially biased about things. But overall, I didn't feel a whole lot of that. I remember it was 1977, so Roots had just hit the scene. Roots, the movie Roots. And I remember that, some of them white kids thought they could be mouthy, and that wasn't gonna happen. Yeah. So let's just say there's some fights and stuff because they thought you think you want to talk to it, you ain't gonna talk no way. But it was interesting because that movie had just come out, so watching that and realizing for the first time the actual atrocity of the slavery and how people were treated and
The reality now.
the reality of it. And Roots really brought it very well because
And
this
it
was
was
Alex
raw,
because
yeah.
this was Alex Haley's tracing his own family. So this was not just a theoretical story. It was based on his family's story.
didn't know that.
And yes, Alex Haley's family story. And so, but getting through that, and I was always I was not one of those it's funny, when I was a little girl, I was really shy, and then for some reason,
That's what everybody comes to say, and I don't see you guys being
I
shy.
really was
It
shy.
doesn't show.
I really was
My
shy.
last guest said the same thing.
I
and I'm like,
was.
where?
You get
How?
my mom's still alive. She'll verify for you.
Mommy, please verify under the live.
I was really shy, but for some reason, I guess I was never shy dancing. So you put on music, and I was going to be free.
Okay.
And I'm still the same way. If you put on music, I'm going to be free. I don't care who's watching. I'm dancing. But as I got older, and I guess when I got to Canada, and the kind of environment that I had in Jamaica, of that whole idea of enough respect. I tell people all the time that when we say enough respect as Jamaicans, it's not a slogan. It's a way of
I
life.
deserve it.
It's a way of life.
Yes.
So when you disrespect me, and so that's I think that's kind of when I started switching out of being kind of shy and saying, no, you're not
You're not
passing your place with me.
Yes. So
And-
that's why I was asking you in school. So now you left Jamaica, you're 9 years old. So I'm assuming you're starting, you're still in kindergarten, right?
No, I'm in grade 3.
You're in grade 3.
I'm in elementary.
Elementary. So how is elementary life for you with the kids? I want to
So-
know, because now it's a whole different lifestyle. How was that for you as a kid?
So it was in a class now where it's predominantly white. I come from a predominantly black country,
Yes.
and I'm dealing with the predominantly white folks, and I'm curious about them and who they are. And it's not I hadn't seen white people. It wasn't
No,
as
but now you're with them.
now
Now
it's
you're
predominant.
living
Now
with
it's
them.
predominant because there were white people in
Jamaica, yes.
but now they're the dominant ones
They're
in the
your
class.
friend. They're the
And
one that's gonna be your
classmates.
classmates.
And these are the
Were
people.
they nice to you?
Yeah, I had a really good friend. Her name was Catherine Marcocha. We were really good friends. I still remember her name because her mom and dad were really awesome. They'd want me to come spend the nights over there. I was even in Girl Scout.
Oh, those are the things we want to know.
Yeah, I was
so
living
you're
in
the
girl.
cookie girls.
I was a cookie girl. Yeah, trying to get my badges.
So did you get any?
I got my badges.
You got all your badges?
I got my badges.
Wow, my daughter didn't finish.
Yeah, I got my badges. And so I think I went 3 years. And then I kind of graduated from there. And so we lived in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. And then when I was finished 5th grade, we moved to Brampton, Ontario. So a little bit further north. And I went to school, middle school. And that's when you couldn't tell me nothing.
Hey,
I'm
we're gonna,
cute.
Look, I can't wait for that part. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear about the middle school adventures because I'm sure that's when the hair changed colors. You can't tell her nothing.
Can't tell me
We
nothing.
shaving our head because that's
I'll
the
tell you
age.
about
Yeah.
it. Was a shape of my head much like it's more like the dress and the yeah.
Yes,
It's a
guys,
mess.
we're going to take a break. We're going to come right back.
You're tuned in to the One-on-One Show with Dr. Lucita.
Welcome to the One-on-One Show.
In trucking, time is money, and the last thing you need is insurance that slows you down. At AmeriTrust Insurance Group, we move fast, no loss runs needed, same-day quotes and binding, and rates that keep your wheels turning. From auto liability to cargo, bobtail, physical damage, and workers' comp, we're your one-stop shop for commercial trucking insurance. Licensed in multiple states, powered by real agents who answer the phone. No bots, no hold music. We know the road can be tough, but your insurance shouldn't be. You're not just hauling freight. You're building a business. Let's protect it. AmeriTrust Insurance Group. We don't just insure, we deliver.
As you guys can tell, we are having a great time. It's me here with Donna. We just found out about her younger self in Jamaica and her transformation from Jamaica to Canada. And now we're going to go a little bit faster to her older ages. She's going to tell us a little bit stories about her in Canada. And then we're going to go to the mature Donna, because we want to know more. We want to know the tea. If she got boyfriends, if she had friends that she wasn't, those little details that I'm sure a lot of you don't know about Donna that we would want you to know, because she was a person just like us. And we also want to know, what advice would she give to her younger self? We're going to start back with that question before she goes further with her Canada stories. Miss Donna, what advice would you give to your younger self?
My younger self, one of the things I've learned as I've gotten older is that everything that happens to you makes you who you are. But if there was anything I would probably tell my younger self, is to be more aware of finances and making decisions in that realm. I got pregnant early, so
So that's what we're
I wouldn't change nothing, because I am who I am for everything that I am. But my younger self, just really honestly being much more. But you can't. It's hard, because when you're younger, that's when you make mistakes, right?
You don't know.
And so if you don't make the mistake, you don't exactly know how you're going to be. So, but if you know what you know today, you probably could change things, and I probably get the lottery. The lottery. I could probably win the lottery because I know the numbers.
It's so unfair, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
By the time we get mature, it's like, dang.
I laugh about. I said, youth is wasted on the young.
So true, so true. So now, you were telling us before our break, your life. I'm sure you had a story that you were going to share with us.
Oh, so teenage years, all teenage years, I remember, it was a tight jeans. My stepmother, my father didn't want us wearing this. So I used to alter my jeans with my needle and thread. Oh yeah, and my jeans were tight. I'd wear one thing out of the house and change at school.
You see, younger generation, we too used to do these things.
Yeah, of course, because you're young and you're trying to impress the boys, put on, a little bit more makeup and all of that stuff. And there was one guy that I really liked in middle school. His name was Chris Smith. And actually, Chris.
So in middle school, you had a crush already?
Oh, yeah.
Girl, you were hot.
I was hot. But it's funny. His name is Chris Smith. And it's funny because he now manages Nelly Furtado and Tamia. And he is the nephew of Barris Hammond, and he's also my daughter's godfather.
What?
Yes.
That is
But we were
awesome.
kids, so it was just that there was a lot of Jamaicans in Canada, and we just happened to be in the same place at the same time, and our history is intertwined.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys talk about those days?
Every once in a while when we get together, we're both old now.
Does he remember?
Of course.
So it was a full-blown relationship?
Full-blown, yeah.
In middle school, you like 14? What?
Yeah.
What about the age? It was relationship?
Yeah. A mess.
So So what about high school? Any friends? Any
Yeah, so high school, of course, we continue. Most of my friends from middle school and we remain friends. My friend Dee Dee, which is Angela Stewart,
Okay.
Carol Mitchell, Melanie Dodero, which is Rockefeller's is her maiden name, and yeah, we're still friends.
Wow.
From middle school, and so for me, it's always been about the connection and people, how I connect to people,
Yes.
and just treating people with respect,
Yes.
and we've always treated each other with respect. But so high school was kind of like a breeze. I was going to be Rizzo. Yeah, Rizzo in the play Grease, and I got pregnant. Okay, that's crazy, right? Because Rizzo was the one I got pregnant, and I ended up leaving the play behind, and
Wow.
my daughter was born when I was 18
So you
years
said you
old.
got pregnant early. So you got pregnant at 18?
I got pregnant. I was pregnant at 17 and a little bit. My daughter was born
right
when I was
before graduating high school.
yeah, but I graduated.
Yeah, you went to
I
school,
graduated.
you did the whole thing.
I went, and then I went on to college to be a chemical engineer
Yeah.
because I was always good in math. And
So I know how strict fathers can be. How did he? You're
No,
not
it
gonna
wasn't
pass that one. We need to hear.
it didn't go
little
well.
bit.
It didn't go well. My father actually kicked me out.
Wow.
So then my sister and I ended up moving together.
And that's what a lot of Caribbean parents do. How do you feel about that? Because
I think
whenever the kids don't listen, because we too have that in common. I was kicked out because my story is different because I went out. There was a party.
Oh.
I went out with a boy and I didn't come back home on time.
So that was why they
was
got me.
time to get kicked out.
They get kicked out. That's the way
was
they
the way.
the way of things. I don't necessarily think that it's completely wrong, but I think it needs to be measured a little bit. I think you should help them to prepare to get out. When you throw them out like that, you run the risk also of them ending up in a worse state of affairs. And I think, especially when young girls get, and one of the things when you talk, you need to keep talking negative about sex and all of that stuff. You create a wanting to know,
Yes.
instead of and giving the child enough
The information.
place to and so at 18 years old I was kind of on my own with my sister, but we made it.
Look at you, chemical engineering. Hello,
We
Daddy.
made it. My sister
And
worked two
the
jobs,
funny
so I
thing
could
is-
do that.
Yeah, the funny thing is, we forgive them. We know.
Oh, yeah.
We know that if they didn't do that to us today, we probably wouldn't be the person that we are.
No, and
For
that's why
me, I'm always thankful.
That's why I said I
Yeah.
can't really say to my younger self what I would really change, because I am who I am because of all of that happened.
Yes.
And I think that was the way they were taught to do
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
But also we have to be careful not to coddle our children too much, because we coddle them so much that they too become too dependent, right? So
I don't know for you. For me, I tend not to, I want to not make that mistake, right? I don't think I'm cuddling my kids. I think it's just like, I would want to give you all the information's required, and I want to be your assistant. If you're going to make the mistake, at least you know what you're getting into.
And that's a different perspective than people that actually just give them stuff, right?
Okay.
That's the difference. And that's what I was kind of saying. I think there's a way to do it in between, just like you're saying. You give them the resources that they need, and then if they make the mistake, then at least they have that to fall. Because, you spend 18 years being a kid, but you spend the rest of your life drawing on those 18 years. You really do.
Yes.
As an adult, you are still a child, no matter how old you get. And so the way your parents react to things, you're going to tend to react almost similar to the way you are. So you have to kind of check yourself to stop yourself.
Yes.
And, my daughter is now, I have a 30.
No way, Donna. Don't say that. You don't look like it. Look
Yeah.
at you saying you have a 30-year-old daughter. No.
38-year-old.
Whoa.
She's going to be
Can you
39.
save the extra 8?
Yeah, she's going 39
Donna, you look
next month. Well,
fantastic.
thank you. Yeah.
I want to look just like that.
It's a yum. I was joking because Usain Bolt's father was asked, how come Usain Bolt runs so fast? And he said, it's the yum.
It's the yum, the yum.
It's the yum.
Yes.
And I'm grateful. I have really great genes, but at the end of the day, you have to take care of yourself.
Yes.
And you have to be very intentional about making sure you self-care too as well. And stress is a killer because I lost my sister 2 years ago.
Oh,
Very
the
much
sister
stress.
that-
Yes.
Oh my God, sorry.
My only sister.
Oh,
I don't want to
my
cry.
Lord,
So,
let's not
but
cry.
but yeah.
Oh my
So
God, bless her
you know,
soul. If you had something to say to your sister, what would it be?
I love her.
Does she has kids?
She's a son, and he's having some trying times
Oh
right
my
now.
God, that has to be tough. Tell the son something. Tell him that something you would want him looking at this.
I just want him to take full responsibility for his own action. I want him to know that he's loved, and I want him to know that every decision he's making is something that can impact his life. So he needs to make decisions that will truly benefit his life. And you can only love somebody so much, and then you have to let them learn on their
mistake,
own.
like we just
Yeah,
said, they have to
he's
learn.
not a child.
And
He's a
we're always
25-year-old.
gonna be there to
Yeah.
to take them
Yeah.
up while they're making the experience
Yeah.
that they are making. So now, Donna, when do we come on to America? Because it looks
So,
like
1990.
we just
So
skipping here.
I went to high school.
We
I went to high school.
and then
Got
we
my.
went to
I went to
college,
college.
got your
I went to college. Got my degree in chemical engineering. Was raising my daughter. My dad, who's again the welder, he was working both sides of the border.
Okay.
So he had been going back and forth between the U.S. and Canada. Finally, when he knew he was going to get ready to retire, he actually bought a home in Florida.
Oh.
And my grandmother actually sponsored his green card. So he got his green card before she passed away.
Wow.
So my dad offered if we wanted to come to the U.S. So this is what 1991.
Oh my God.
So 1991. So I'm already an adult. I'm living my life. I'm doing my thing.
Yes,
I'm
you have a baby.
I'm 23 or 24
Yes.
years old. I think I was 23 years old when he offered. So we said sure. So it took 7 years before we got the green card. So when we did
So
get
you
the green
came
card,
here at 30.
I came here at 30.
Wow.
And the reason why I end up in the Metro Atlanta area, I end up going to DeKalb County, was 1996. The Olympics was held here, and it happened between the window of when I applied and when we got the green card. So 96, I saw Andrew Young.
Hey.
And
Handsome.
the member, and he was the ambassador at the time, and it was Mayor Campbell. I think it was Campbell, and they were talking about Atlanta and Black progress,
Yes.
and they're doing all the stuff.
Yes.
Atlanta looks fantastic. Everybody's talking about hot Atlanta.
Yes.
Yeah, buddy, it was all good. You got you had
Yes.
Freaknik going on.
Yeah.
It was
Atlanta was hot.
It was hot. It was
Atlanta
hot.
was hot.
So I said, because I was thinking about going to Washington State,
Okay.
across to the west, and then when Atlanta came on the
Map.
platform, I said, well, let's check out Atlanta. Not only that, Atlanta is almost dead center between Canada and Jamaica.
Really?
Almost dead center.
I didn't even know.
Almost dead center, almost the same mileage.
mileage.
It's going one way or the other. And we're on the same time zone.
Wow.
So
Is that
Atlanta
why
won
not?
out. I came down. I like the
But there's no
cleanliness.
beach.
There's no beach. That's, the people might think that's it, but we do notice that.
Yeah,
There's no
there's
real
no
water,
water.
except for Savannah.
Yeah, that you have to drive like
but
5-6 hours.
that was that's the only thing.
Yes.
But I love the greenery. I love the landscape, the hills.
Yes.
I love that you can go into a metro area, but then drive just a few minutes and
Yes,
you're in
in the city.
you feel like you're in the country.
Yes.
So Atlanta won out, and so that's how I end up moving down here.
You made
And
it home.
I made it to Georgia.
You made it to Georgia.
I made it to Georgia. Rainy night in
because-
Georgia.
Because you and I, there's so much we can embark in your life. Now, you made it to Georgia. How did you become part of politics? Like, how was your life? Like, how did it all
Oh, did it happen?
started? Yes.
So, because always been, I'm not the kind of
Yes.
person, I'm not the kind of person you put in a corner. Okay, I'm just not. And so I came
But
down.
she says she's shy.
Back then I really was, But so 2000, I came here in 1998. 2000 was the election between George W. Bush and Al Gore.
Okay.
And there was that big issue about Chad. And so I'm a mathematic person. So if you tell me the numbers added up, I don't know how you can change the numbers. So I was down in Florida protesting.
Okay.
Is George W. Bush's inauguration. And then after a while, I kind of calmed down. I came here, I was an engineer, a chemical engineer, and a quality manager for over-the-counter drug manufacturing company. So I did that kind of work. And then 2004, this young man comes on the stage. He says it's not a red state, it's not a blue state. It's the United States of America. And that would be Barack Obama. And that moment in my life changed everything. And I saw him bring up that black wife and them two black children.
Like,
say no more. Say no more.
like, okay.
So when I said that if he ever ran for president, I would be there on day one. And so that's the truth. He announced his presidency in the late part of 2007, and in 2008 I started campaigning and doing door knocking for him. I door knocked for him, and I remember when I started, I was getting doors slammed in my face, even by African Americans who did not think that he was gonna win. And when he won Iowa is when they started seeing things differently, and then they by 2000, I remember going to North Carolina, and that was the Reverend Wright issue where they were, condemning him for his pastor's word. And I remember going there, and I remember the office being pretty solemn. People were pretty kind of worried about it. But when we went to the doors knocking, people were just off the moon. They were loving him. They didn't care what was going on in the media. They were ready for Barack.
Yes.
And
Because it was history in the making.
And the folks that were actually from Africa, you couldn't tell them nothing. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. They would bring you in, you touch Barack, and they would pull you in. It was wonderful. So it was a real, other than having my child, I would say that was probably one of the most I don't know, life-altering, changing kind of event, to see people with different backgrounds, different religion, just different ethnicity coming into this. Yeah, everybody working for the same thing. And I remember there was only one civil rights leader here that really took on supporting him initially, and that was Reverend Lowry.
Oh, yes.
Reverend Lowry was the only one, because I think Congressman Lewis was actually pushed into supporting, because he was actually supporting Hillary Clinton at the time.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I like
so even our own people at that time
they did not believe, but I did.
How so though? What make you? I mean, let's a little politics. What would you? Why would you think that they weren't ready for a black president?
Because this country's history of basically disenfranchising black people, making them feel inferior, making them feel that this country would not allow them to get to that seat of office. I can understand it, but I come from a country where all I saw was people that look like me,
like you,
that lead,
and that were leading.
So it was nothing.
It was a no-brainer.
It was a no-brainer for me.
So is it safe to say that you were part of, one of the person behind the force of pushing Obama here in Atlanta?
Absolutely. I was the national director for voter outreach for Black Women for Obama, and I had the honor this man twice in endorsing me to run for office. He endorsed me to become the first Jamaican-born Caribbean woman to serve in the Georgia House, and I was endorsed by a sitting president at the time, Barack Obama. So I'm forever, so from my journey has been quite interesting, but it also requires that you don't feel like you do not belong.
Yes.
And if I could tell anyone, everybody out there that's listening, you belong, and there's no one like you. You are an original, and you're the one that has to decide what you want. And don't be afraid, because if you're afraid, fear is something that, it's not that you're not going to have fear. Fear is okay to have. have. What is the problem is if you let fear hold you back. And so as a little girl growing up, I've never had that inkling of, other than the bullets that was flying up when I was a kid. I refuse to be afraid of things as I've gotten older. But, I knew he could lead, and he has been one of the most successful president of the United States who really value the Constitution and the rule of law. So, and I became a citizen, by the way, in 2012.
Oh, interesting.
And I ran for the first time in 2016, 4 years after becoming a citizen. So it was pretty close. But I read the Constitution. That's why
Yes.
I take it to heart. And I've taken the oath to this country 3 times. I took it when I became a citizen, and I've taken it twice when I was elected and reelected to the Georgia House.
Georgia House, a woman from Jamaica, first black woman. What was that feeling like?
My gosh.
For somebody who can't phantom that image, how was it, especially the first time, when you noticed that you won?
So I didn't know that was the historical thing. I didn't know.
Okay.
So I was told to basically flip the seat from the Republicans to the Democratic column. And I knew I would be the first black woman to serve in that seat. I knew that. But I get a call from, I think it was Lester Hines of the... He's off the Gleaner, and he says, "Are you aware that you are now the first Caribbean and the first Jamaican-born to serve in the Georgia House?" And I said, "What?" And then all of a sudden,
It's all over.
the
It's
media
flowing.
starts coming at me and asking me for interviews, and it was wild. And that's when I first realized. But history making is just one thing. Once you make history, it's a done deal, right? It's what you do.
Yes.
And you have to prepare room for other people. And I can safely tell you now, there was at least 5 Africans elected into the Georgia House last cycle, and a couple more people from the Caribbean background. So I am honored to
So
have
there's
been the
room for
first.
me.
Always. Absolutely. Absolutely. You should never be in a space and not create space for others.
That's awesome. So looking at you as a woman, what advice would you give other women that looking at all that you've achieved? Right? Even though there's so much I probably didn't go through because
There's a
we
lot,
would
but
be
this is-
here
for-
forever.
Yeah, we've already gone through 45 minutes.
So this is a hybrid of Donna McLeod life. However, like you, a woman of power, woman of giving, woman of strength. What would you tell other women?
Do not just sit there and think that things are going to be offered to you. It's not. But also, don't ever think that you can't. If you've ever wanted to try something, try it. Because if you fail at it, that's okay. Everything I've done, I've never been. Also,
You've never done it.
my first run for office, I lost by 222 votes.
Wow,
But
that's it, though.
but I took that loss, and I went out this year when there was no election, and I spoke to everyone that did not vote. When I knew 2,100 people didn't vote, that district was also one of the mid-decade gerrymander district. So it was the gerrymander to make sure my opponent won. And so I say to people, if you really are passionate about something, and I love passion, because passion makes you do things even when you're tired. And trust me, you get tired, but when you love something, you'll do it, and you'll keep doing it. And so to women that are thinking about something, make sure. I don't want you to overplan, but if you have passion about it, get to it. Find out what it is that you need to do to make it happen, because nothing is an original. Like, things have happened before, so you can use it, and you can call upon somebody and ask them questions, and let them and those who've been there before ask the questions. It's not brand new. Yes, I was the first Jamaican-born, but I'm the first woman to be elected. But I'm the first Jamaican-born, so that made me an original in that sense, and gave other people the idea that they can too do it. But again, do not let your own fear hold you back. Fear is natural. It's okay to be fearful. What is not okay is to let fear stop you.
Stop you from. Thank you for saying that. Now, being the first Jamaican born, and that's it. How did your Jamaican family, the country, how did they receive you?
So that's so funny because when I was running, you got to understand Jamaicans. They're very leery. They're very suspicious. They don't know if you're taking their money when you're asking them for money. It was hard to get them to realize that I was possible. I was possible. It's not that Jamaicans know you're possible. They didn't know that the state of Georgia would actually, and people in the state of Georgia would actually like me with an accent and all of that. But once they, I remember before I was elected, I remember talking to a bunch of Jamaicans at a Jamaican association, and I'm talking to them, girl, I'm talking, and they're just sitting there stone faced, and I'm like, am I saying things?
my God.
Am I saying anything? Oh goodness, did they even care? Oh my! And then finally, when I was done, this big clapping and then coming over to me, and that's I knew I was okay with my peoples.
But why is that? Is that's the way they are?
No, Jamaicans are very stern. Oh, they don't care about no title or nothing. Oh yeah, Bob Marley could walk down the street. They don't care.
Hey, that's Bob Marley.
Yeah, and Bob Marley, if he talk anything stupid, they'll stone him. That's how they are.
Yes.
But once you can pass that and muster with them,
Yes.
that's the only piece of people I need to pass muster with. Because
It's your own people.
once I pass muster, I'm good.
You're like,
But
yeah.
they've been just truly just awesome, and they have truly showed me that they appreciate what I've done. And one of the things when you get to the table, you must never forget who you are. And you must always, 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 always give back. And there's nothing wrong with pulling somebody else up with you. It doesn't harm anybody. You're not going to lose anything. But no, I'm big up all the time, They have the community all the time. They give, I've gotten awards in the community, so I'm grateful for that. And again, Jamaicans have this sense of pride. And I truly think that and hope that I've represented them well. When I went to they certainly knew in the Georgia House of Representatives that something was different.
Yes.
I wasn't the typical African American. I was definitely Jamaican, and they knew because I'd go down to the well and say big up. Yeah.
And
But
that was just for them.
Yeah, but it's just, and you have to do the work. You have to do the work. When that kind of work, you have to study law, you have to read bills, you have to make decisions based on, so that is not a simple thing. So when people think that it's easy, it's not. I vote on behalf of a district, yes. About 60,000 people. But I vote for 11 million people, because because Georgia is about 11 million people. So when you say yes or nay to something and it passes and becomes law, it's impacting 11 million people. So I was always very cognizant of it. You have to know a little bit about fishing. You have to know about what's happening in the metro area, what kind of development. You have to know about hybrid cars. You have to know about a little bit about everything. What's going on in education? What's going on in healthcare? You have to know a little bit about everything, because when you read a bill, you have to be able to decipher if this is if it's good for the state of Georgia and good for your district. So it's not simple, and it takes a lot of homework. It takes a lot of things. When we went through COVID, it was a difficult time. People were losing their job. Unemployment was not doing what they were supposed to do. It was just and it's emotional as well, because if you care about people, you care about human beings. When you take this job up, you spend your time hearing a lot of things that's going on, because it's a service job. And I really try to make the clear difference between politics and governance. Politics is about the persuasion. I'm going to come up there, ask you for your vote. I'm going to tell you what I can and cannot do. But governance is what I do with the money once I get to the table. How do we allocate money in services so the people that they get services, like you driving on that road paved? That's a service. you're paying for, all of us collectively pay for. So just letting people understand that distinction. And so, anybody who runs for office, please run for office because you want to be in service of people. Do not run for office just because you think, hey, I can, I can get a title. Titles are a dime a dozen. Everybody's that title. You're a sister, you're a daughter, you're a mom, you're an auntie. There's lots of titles. Don't get hung up on that, whether it's
and that's what I was gonna ask you. On that table, when you sit on that table, what was your biggest pride moment that Donna was able to make a difference? What was it? What was it?
So there's a few things.
Yes.
So there's a few things. So you've got African Heritage Month, Immigrant Heritage Month.
Okay.
I was the legislator that made sure that happened in September. But one of my biggest and my most prideful thing was to really stand up for how education is being funded in the state of Georgia. Okay. So the last time the funding formula for funding public schools was updated was 1985. That's the formula we're still using.
Wow.
And we can tell you, especially in the metro area, this is not a 1985 state anymore.
Yes.
And so I really pushed back. In fact, my team and I had some young college students who were my administrative assistants. We took a piece of document that was actually a study done by the state of Georgia about education, and we read this. The study was done in 2015. I was elected in 2018. I started serving in 2019. When we took that up, literally brushed it off, read it, I created a piece of legislation, HB 071 from 2020, the 2021-2022 session. And we wrote legislation to start looking at how we can improve the formula to meet kids where they are, because what most people don't understand is that the money for special needs kids or for Title I schools where reduced lunches, that's all federal funded. It is not in the budget for the state of Georgia. So my formula added some of that stuff to it to make sure that we are really meeting kids where they need. Our county, Gwinnett County, is over 1 million people. It is the most diverse county in the state of Georgia, but it's also the most diverse county in the Southeast. And I think it's the third most diverse county in the United States. Wow. So where we have kids with second language, whether it's from Haiti, Hispanic, it doesn't matter. We need to meet our kids where they need to be. We've integrated kids with special needs into our schools. That needs to be funded as well to make sure those kids have an opportunity to still have as best a life as they can. They're already having challenges, and so we have to make it as best we can for them. So I was very passionate about that. I also looked at legalizing marijuana only because the criminalization of it just created more
needs, more demand.
Yes, more needs, more demand. But it also created where disproportionately black men and women were put in jails for it. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of a lot of stuff. And also Juneteenth, I was one of the signer on that of Juneteenth in this state. And for those who don't know what Juneteenth actually is that when slavery, so July 4th, 1776 is the Independence Day for all the Europeans that came from England who said they no longer wanted to be associated with England. That's July 4th. That's Independence Day for Europeans. At that time, on July 4th, 1776, majority of black people were still on plantation.
Slave.
So 1865, June 19th, 1865 was the last county in Texas to say, hey, okay, we recognize that slavery had ended. In 1863, Abraham Lincoln had already signed the Emancipation Proclamation, but they acted like they were deaf. So that's why Juneteenth is important, because it's actually Independence Day for the enslaved.
Wow.
And not the slaves, the enslaved.
Slaves. See, guys, we learned so much. I promise you guys was gonna be back in school. Yes, we learned so much. It's important. It's part of Donna, because we need to know these things. And the fact that she held that position, that's only reason why, I think she's an extraordinary woman. And my questions, I have a few more questions that we always ask all of our guests, is what is the definition of success to you?
Success is, it's funny how people define success, and it's usually through materialism, and it's not for me. Success is my connection to the human beings that I've met along the way. And because I've always said, if I pass through this life, I hope somebody said, I'm glad I met her along the way. So for me, success is not just about monetary, because what I've learned about stuff is that it comes and it goes. And it's, sometimes you go back to a picture and you say, oh my gosh, I forgot that shoes, or oh my gosh. And it's because stuff come and go. And I've also said value is what you're willing to pay for something. If you're not willing to pay for it, it's valueless and it doesn't mean nothing to you. But if you want to pay for it, then it has value to you. So
that's your definition of success.
Yeah.
So I understand you're a grandmother. What would you tell your you just one?
Just one.
Now, what would you tell your grandson or granddaughter?
I want him to be a person that truly connects to himself, his roots. I want him to truly appreciate the human being that he is. I want him to treat people with respect. If you're not getting that respect, then let them loose. Know the difference between somebody who is being kind or somebody who's not being so kind. Being able to differentiate is very important, because having people in your life that is toxic, and because they're so young and because they're exposed to so many things, maybe 10 years ago my input wouldn't be this, but 10 years now and sitting here and now, I want him to be very cognitive about the people that he has in his orbits, and I want him to be the best human being he can be. Jamaican households are very strong about education, so get his education. But I'm not telling my grandson to go work for somebody. He can can create what he wants to create, but mostly I want him to be respectful of himself first, because if you respect yourself, you will create the boundaries that other people will not cross into.
That is so lovely. Any shout outs? Because I'm sure there's people in your life, because we don't want your daughter to get mad. We've been talking about your grandson. We don't want anybody to feel...
She's already mad. She thinks I treat my grandson too nice. She don't know where this woman comes from.
Yes. So any shout outs?
My daughter, Crystal Kelleher McLeod, she's a survivor. My daughter was diagnosed with breast cancer 2 years ago. So she's
young lady.
I have had a life. I have had a life, no doubt. I've lived, of course. She's here.
I love this about you.
Yeah, she's gone through chemo and she is standing and she works and she takes care of her son, and I'm just absolutely proud of her. And the hardest thing I think times with those kind of diagnoses is that fear of dying, right?
Yeah.
But we're all going to die, but it's a different kind of fear for some knowing. And so shout out to my daughter, and shout out to all of the folks that have come into my life over the years, and my family and my friend. I love my family. They are crazy as all get up like myself, but they keep you real. They don't care about no title. They'll cuss you out when they want it. So that's the real deal, Holyfield family.
The honorable.
No, the honorable who? But they do appreciate my success
Yes.
because we share it together.
Yes.
I am them. The DNA is theirs too.
Yes.
I am.
And the success is theirs.
It's
too.
theirs too.
Yes.
And my friends, all my friends, and just shout out to Sharon and Does Mean and Lador and Pat, just women that have been just there and awesome to be around and sharing your success and you sharing theirs because they're all very phenomenal women
Yes.
too. And if it's your time to sit in the back in the room, you sit back and let them enjoy themselves.
And I want to say thank you to Pat, Patricia,
Yes.
Edigan. Thank
Yes.
you for disconnect. You're
Yes.
an awesome lady.
Yes. So, because, we sharing each other's success. And if it's their time to shine, you sit your ass back. Sorry, my language. You
It's
sit back and let them shine.
Yes.
And that's what friends, that's how you know who you are and
Yes.
that you
No
don't have
jealousy.
to be.
No
you know,
jealousy.
Jealous is a
It's
wasted
a
emotion.
waste of energy, waste of time. Because we can go further with
Together.
everybody being
Together.
one. So, again, you are exceptional. I just love you. I just love
Thank
the
you.
person that you are. Now,
Appreciate it.
that's the last question for the show. If this is the end and you can only take one thing, what would it be?
Who? Well, if it's the end,
Yes.
like my end of my life,
Hey, no, I didn't say that.
or the end of the show.
The end of something. Let's say the world is ending and you have to take one thing, and you can take your daughter, you can take your son. You just have to take something.
But I couldn't choose one out of them.
Just one thing.
I would hope I could take what I have learned
Okay.
and remember it.
Okay.
I guess, yeah, because that's something I've always thought about. If there's a life afterwards, will I remember the people I love?
Okay.
Will I recognize them? So I guess memories. I would like to take that with me.
All right. For all of you that's watching, remember, if there's an end, Donna would take her memory. On that note, we want to say thank you to all of you viewers that's always with me from 5 to 6 every Saturday. Remember to share, tell your friends, and let's stay connected. Until next time, goodbye. Bye for now.
You're tuned in to the One Show with Dr. Lucita.
Welcome to the One Show.
Welcome to iSpace 2 LLC, the ultimate creative sanctuary designed for the innovative mind. Elevate your podcast with our professional-grade equipment and acoustically treated rooms. Crystal clear sound quality every time. Bring your vision to life in our photo shoot studio with natural light, versatile backdrops, and pro lighting gear. Stunning images are guaranteed. Need space to collaborate? Our sleek modern offices are perfect for meetings, workshops, or conferences. Flexible rentals to fit your needs. Choose from our diverse studios. Studio A, Studio B, Studio C, and Studio D, each designed to inspire and adapt to your creative workflow. Conveniently located at 2198 Austell Road Southwest, Suite 216 in Marietta, Georgia. Ready to create? Book your space today at ispace2.com or call 866-936-5365. iSpace 2 LLC.
Pose pose, pas fait tête chaud. Ou t'as cherché un compagnie sérieux pour faire le taxe pour là, dans des postes tête ou hier, et bien choix par l'autre côté. Lucita Accounting Firm. Nous avons plus que 22 ans d'expérience dans seule location. Porte nous l'ouvrir depuis le fait 9h pour arriver 7h. Consultation nous gratis. Nous avons pilote service nous bas encore. Nous faisons taxe individuelle. Taxe pour moun qui gen business. Nous faisons audit pour assurance taxe. Taxe consultation. Nos affaires taxe. Docteur Lucita se mettre causé. Relais pour service taxe pour la Kounia. Et pour nous éduquer dans taxe. Pour joindre tout corps ou dans mes ARS sans manquer yon yota. Téléphone non c'est 770 319 91 81. Adresse nous c'est Atlanta, Georgia.
In trucking, time is money, and the last thing you need is insurance that slows you down. At AmeriTrust Insurance Group, we move fast, no loss runs needed, same-day quotes and binding, and rates that keep your wheels turning. From auto liability to cargo, bobtail, physical damage, and workers' comp, we're your one-stop shop for commercial trucking insurance. Licensed in multiple states, powered by real agents who answer the phone. No bots, no hold music. We know the road can be tough, but your insurance shouldn't be. You're not just hauling freight. You're building a business. Let's protect it. AmeriTrust Insurance Group. We don't just insure, we deliver.
You're tuned in to the One-on-One show with Dr. Lucita.